I was reading an article and I just broke down because the article was saying that it was like I don't remember it was like almost like a foster home type situation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, they had black girls there and they had white girls there. And they didn't give the black girls any nurturing, any loving at all because they were more resilient. They were stronger. What happens to a baby if you don't nurture them? Like, you are really hurting them mentally.
Definitely.
Because they don't feel that connection.
Yeah.
The trauma runs so deep.
Yes, sir. Boom, boom, boom. We back with another episode of the JOAT podcast. Cousin P.
We're here.
Louis Joe.
What's poppin'?
And your boy Steady Low, man. How y'all boys been?
Man, it seemed like a long time. It
been
that long, but it seemed like it's been a minute since we've been recording. I don't know. I've been itching to get back on here. Feel me?
Yeah. It feel like we had a little hiatus, but we ain't.
Yeah.
But, you know, everything moving and grooving, man. Louis Joe, how you been?
Man, I've been good, man. Great weekend ahead of us.
Yeah.
Great weekend ahead of us.
I'm excited.
For all our southeastern Arkansas people, we got the Fall Festival coming up, hosted by the JOAT podcast.
The JOAT podcast.
Bring your kids, bring your family.
Bring
We
your
got a bunch
side
of
pieces, bring your main pieces.
side pieces.
Very
and main
hey,
pieces.
this is the lunch of Cousin P R&B career.
Man, we got a 5K for the people. We got
just gonna
entertainment, hay rides for the kids. We
Just
got
gonna let
adult
God use
entertainment,
me,
live
y'all.
music. So a bunch of stuff going on. We bring it to the town. We're trying to do big things and start a new thing just for the town to do. But other than that,
Fall Nick.
Fall Nick, you think it's the Fall Nick?
The Fall Nick.
We ain't gonna claim that yet. We gotta see. That's so major.
All right.
But joining us today, we have Miss Chulyndria Laye, my cousin, my family member, one of my favorite cousins, somebody I could always lean on. And it only makes sense with her now being a psychologist.
No, counselor.
It's like a psychologist, but a therapist in many aspects. Because she's always helped me and kind of coached me and guided me through things and decision making, and there's somebody I could always bounce things off of whenever I make a big decision or just going through something. So, cousin Chulyndria Laye, welcome to the podcast.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. But thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. I know they kind of say it was kind of bad when I was like, no, to the psychologist. My master's is in counseling psychology.
Okay, I went
but-
off.
No, you weren't off at all. It's the licensure.
Okay.
Right? My licensure is licensed associate counselor. So if I were to be a psychologist, then my doctorate would have to be in psychology, but it's not.
And you're pursuing your doctorate in what?
Yes, counselor education and supervision. So
It's a big term.
it is. Basically, I'll still be doing therapy, but I'll also be teaching on the collegiate level, as well as supervising counselors in training. So someone that was like me, a licensed associate counselor, I would be supervising them once I have my LPCS, and that's just my terminal license, LPC. So it's licensed professional counselor.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Sounds fancy.
Of course, I've been knowing you forever, but we want to, get your backstory for the people who don't know you or the people who do know you but don't know you as well. You're from Dumas, Arkansas.
Absolutely.
You were I can't even remember the name of it. Band major?
Drum major.
Drum major. She was a drum major.
Oh, you taking it all the way
Yeah,
back.
I'm taking it all the way back. She was my drum major in high school. I went to school on the.
She was your drum major?
She was my drum major. I went on the.
So the drum major mean the best at the drums?
No. The
Like
drum
the
major is
directing
pretty
the-
much.
directing the
She's like the
band.
student director.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she was responsible.
Why
for
they don't just say band? Call her band director then?
Because that's the title of the
actual-
director.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so she's always just been that type of person. Was class president, leader of the band with drum major, things like that. She's always just been able to be responsible. Somebody, like I said, hold me accountable, hold me in check. So you went from there, went to Prairie View, transferred, and ended up going to Arkansas.
Yep.
So just with you transferring to Arkansas, how was that you knew exactly what you wanted to do? Like once you well, why did you transfer
No,
first off?
absolutely not.
Why did you
So-
pick Prairie View?
Okay, so you know what? It's a mental health segment, so we can just jump right into it. So I did, like Stedman said, a lot of stuff in school. I mean, anything you can think of, I was doing it because I was running from a lot of things I was dealing with internally, but didn't know how to talk about it as a kid, right? Yeah. So my parents, my mom and my dad, they both said, okay, you can pick a school to go to. You got to go to college. My dad said, you can go to A-State. My mom said, you can go to the U of A. So I joined the Navy. Yep. Like, just defiant. Rebel. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to make my own way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I joined the Navy, but my brother Keon and Quita were getting married. And so I didn't want to miss their wedding. My ship date was exactly a month before their wedding. So I started like busting my tail trying to get picked up on an ROTC scholarship for college so that I could still make it back for their wedding. So that's what I did. I did the ROTC scholarship. But when I got there, I got disqualified for being allergic to pineapple. No. Of all things. Yeah. So I made it through DEP and like actually going to what's the place in Little Rock? LJ? MIPS. I got through the medical clearance the physical assessment. I got through all of that. But for the ROTC program, because it was an officer training program, they did more.
Like a more thorough.
More thorough, yeah. And so
is pineapple like a big part of their diet?
No,
they just test you for everything.
They test you for everything. And had I known, I would have just said I didn't have any allergies, right?
Oh, so they didn't. Oh,
yeah. It was because I disclosed it. Yeah. So then I had to go through these extra. I had to go get like testing and everything. But
I was stick with all the pins and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
But I was at school in Texas, essentially by myself. Like I went with people that I knew from here, like Tasha was there. Yeah. So Tasha and I became so close while we were there. And so P, I think, did y'all come out there and visit us one time? Yeah. And so that happened. So the whole first semester I was there, I wasn't getting paid. So I'm out here just pretty much roughing it. And I looked up one day and I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't belong here. I love the school. I love the people. I got to meet some great friends. It just was like, it dawned on me that, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. Why am I here? I'm 19 years old. I done went and got tattoos that somebody over there dropped down on me about, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But you know, I'm just doing stuff, right? That was Stedman, y'all. He told
it was a backstory to it, though.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll talk about that.
You did something first.
Our family was kind of strict always, you
on
know,
the
like
girls, not the boys.
Was strict too on me, cause so this what happened. Like
I was too. Kel told.
So I had got tattoos, like, cause I couldn't get tattoos in high school. Like, a couple of my partners got tattoos in high school. So my dad was like, "Nope, you gonna wait till you out of my house." Whoop de whoop. So first thing I did when I got my little refund check, my fall semester freshman year, I went and got tattoos on the back of my arm. You know what I'm saying? Being rebellious. So I came home. I think we came home for homecoming or like Thanksgiving break or something.
I don't know. I shouldn't have been here.
And and yeah, my grandpa, which is like, you know, he's the pinnacle of the family. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Stammy, you got some damn tattoos? Whoop the whoop all this," and you know, kind of getting on my ass. I want to take the heat off me. I was like, "Chewy got tattoos too,"
and got in his car and left.
Yeah, I left.
He got in his car and left.
So, and then everybody just was like, "Whoa," you know, because she like, you know, the poster child. So yeah, I just dipped and we ain't talked for like a year after that.
I sent Stedman a text message. Look, I used to cuss back then. Like, I sent Stedman a long text message. I told him about himself. Didn't want to talk to him for a long time.
Did you call him a rat?
Nah. Everything but a child of God. That's for sure. Damn. That is for sure. Yeah. I was mad at him.
So you said you was out of place.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Pete. Yes, out of place. And you know what? Like Stedman said, the poster child, right? people don't check on their strong friends.
That's right.
They don't check on their, their the kids that they feel like they don't have to worry about. And that was the thing. I always made good grades. Nobody asked me what my grades were when I transferred. My dad never let me quit anything, but they didn't want me in the Navy and they didn't want me in Texas. So when I called and when I came home Christmas break, and I didn't go back. Like, I came home, and before anybody knew it, I'd already started filling out an application to the U of A because I was hurting, but I didn't want anybody to know I was hurting because I didn't even know why I was hurting. Like, let's just put that there. I didn't know why. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel like I knew what to do with my feelings. We never talked about our feelings. I just didn't know. But now looking back, I was just in a deep state of depression and didn't know what to do with it or how to talk about it. But man, I called my dad and I was like, I think I want to transfer. Probably the next day, if maybe 2 days, we went to Prairie View and we got my stuff. My dad has never let me quit anything. I'm telling you, 7th grade, he bought me a clarinet and said, "You're gonna play this until you graduate."
Yeah, if you start, you're gonna finish it.
That's what I
think. Like you ain't gotta do it the next year, but if you start, you're gonna finish it. That's a big family thing.
Yeah.
So how was your? So did you go like right that spring semester?
Yes. So I started school at the U of A in January because in my brain I'm thinking I can't sit out. Like if I'm not in school, people gonna ask questions. So how I'm gonna play this? All right, cool. My brother, I went to Fayetteville for like a week with Keon and Quita, and so I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. I can bring my car here. I had that little Maxima, yeah,
gold Maxima.
Yeah, and so I couldn't take it to Texas. It wasn't gonna make it. So I'm like, okay, I can bring my car here. I can get a job. Like I'm thinking about all the stuff that I can do because my dad gonna want to know my plan. Like it really doesn't matter what you're doing, but you got to do something. He gonna tell like, well, you got to tell me something, Chu. What you doing? And so I didn't want anyone to ask questions, so I kind of had it all laid out. And then when I came to the U of A, I came with the mindset of like, get in and get out. So I finished that program, my undergrad, in 3 years. Get in, get out. And so I started teaching. And while I was teaching, I started to meet kids that like I could tell something was wrong. Something was bothering them. And I would have to report parents, like some parents every day or every other day because the kids coming with bruises or, they just something wrong, telling me they're not eating, different things like that. But when DHS or CPS for some areas, when they would come to investigate, the kids would shut down. They wouldn't talk because it was a stranger, right? But they knew me.
So you was a regular teacher at this time?
Yeah, I was teaching preschool.
Okay.
Yeah, I was teaching preschool.
But you had your undergraduate?
Yeah, with my undergraduate degree is in child development.
Okay.
So I was teaching preschool, and I was like, man, I gotta do something. Like I have to be able to speak for them or help them get a voice. So I started researching, like, what can I do to help kids, like social work or therapy. So I got interested in play therapy. And so in order to do play therapy, you had to have a license in like social work, counseling, any of that type of stuff from what I could find, right? So I just immediately enrolled in school in a counseling psychology program. And that's kind of how I got started on this mental health track.
So when you said play therapy, what exactly is that?
So basically, it sounds like you're just playing with
like
toys, right?
Got serious.
That's how they be on Law and Order when they be in there taking the toys to the kids and stuff and getting information out of it.
Well, you're not. That's kind of like the misconception. You're not giving them toys because you want them to talk to you. But when you think about kids, like that's their language. That's the way they communicate.
They bring that wall down.
They communicate through play. They communicate through toys. And so when they come into the playroom is what we call it. When they come into the playroom, they're exploring. They're looking around, and we look at themes, right? So I don't expect a 5-year-old to sit on my couch, right, in my office, and Miss Lynn, let me tell you what happened to me last night. Because that's not how they communicate, right? But my 5-year-old might get a sword and go to work on the bot bag, which is just like a punching bag thing. Or, they may come and like rock a baby doll, and then next thing you know, they may throw it or something. And you're looking at different things. You're looking at like nurturing. You're looking at aggression. You're looking at creativity. Like you're looking at these different things, and you're basically engaging with them on a therapeutic level. But it's more about the relationship. I had a sweatshirt on earlier today that said play therapy. The relationship is the therapy, because you're building you're someone that they can trust now. And when they trust you enough, they'll show you things through their play. And so, the misconception is you just give kids some Uno cards and get them to talk to you, because you're trying to get them to talk to you. You don't have to say anything. Yeah. I'm just watching you interact in your own language. Think about if it was a foreign language, right? Because a lot of kids don't have the words that we have.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we do there. I'm not a licensed play therapist yet. I have all the credentials for it, but I even co-teach an intro to play therapy class, but I have to wait until I'm terminally licensed, which is LPC, before I can apply to be a registered play therapist.
Okay, so what would you say at this point? Are you looking to be in a position to counsel adults, or are you mostly focused on children?
So my age range right now that I see, my youngest client age range is 5. I have seen some 3-year-olds, but I try to stick between 5 and 28. I know that's a wide range, but when I started mostly doing adults. And then once I got the play therapy training, then I started seeing more kiddos and adolescents. And so because I work in different settings, so I have my private practice where I see mostly play therapy or 5-year-olds through adults, with my private practice. But at the hospital, in the hospital setting that I work in, I only see children and adolescents there. I don't see adults there. I really like that children and adolescent age range, and adolescent really is going up to 25 because your brain's not fully developed.
Something shut off and
And so that adolescent range or teenage range, it really goes up through 25. But I have seen the thing that I've experienced the most with clients that are older than me is that some of them will come in and say you look really young, or you're younger than my daughter.
They think they'll shut off.
They can't. Now I have had some that will talk to me with no problem. But I think it's also kind of that imposter syndrome for me too. Not only am I a therapist that look younger than I really am, but then I'm a black therapist. Yeah. I'm a black female therapist in Northwest Arkansas.
I can see that.
That's what I wanted to. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, that's what I was wondering about, because our people really don't really go into therapy and stuff. And shit, me myself, really, I'm the person with a lot of people in my life. They come to me. You know what I mean? So, but not just necessarily taking a step and be like, man, I'm gonna go talk to somebody, or know if they wanted to, where to go. You know what I mean? Especially being in Northwest Arkansas. That's why I wanted to ask you, do you have any people that come to you, or is in the hospital or your private practice, they look like us.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm gonna touch on a couple things that you said. To answer your question, yes, a lot of the people that I see in my private practice look like us. A lot of my clients are Black women, either in that young transition age or teenage age range. Now, that's not saying all of my clients are, because we have to think about the population there as well, right? But I have had people to come to me and say, I was looking for a Black therapist specifically. And so the majority of the clients that I get at my private practice are Black. Another thing you touched on was that our culture is not in us really to seek mental health. And that's kind of digs into the research that I'm doing right now too, on the strong Black woman concept and how that affects us mentally. And there's so much stigma in our culture. My shirt today, y'all can't see it all, but it says you can have Jesus and a therapist too. And Please. Our culture, there's so much stigma behind mental health, even like from the top down, meaning like as kids, we didn't talk about our feelings. We weren't taught to talk about our feelings. Some of us were, if you had
a comfortable space.
Yes.
But a lot of parents didn't. Being 100% transparent, I know from my situation, but a lot of times it was your grandparents raising you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even not it's on the weekends, or most times so, and they came from you. It's 2 generations before now where they just had to suck it up, so they putting it on you. You know what I'm saying? A child's supposed to stay in a child's place. Speak when spoken to, things like that.
What happens in this house stays in this house.
Yeah, and so I was going to touch on that too. I mean, you hit on it, but that was the thing too, because it's even scientifically proven, and like it's in the history books that like people always thought, either medical professionals thought Black people were stronger. They didn't feel as much pain and things like that. So
absolutely,
a lot of Black people just hold it in, work through it, things like that. We were talking with Dog on the other pod. I can't even remember.
Jay.
Excuse me.
With his music, we was talking about they wanted to get music.
Oh, Styles.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Styles. Okay, but we were talking with Styles, and he was like, "Man, this person passed and this person passed, and I just went to the casino. I blew a bag. You know what I'm saying?" And we said, "Man, maybe you should do therapy." I figured out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like that too. Black men and women. But I think it's one of the stigmas that's put on us. You keep, in-house business in-house. And that's the thing. We don't want to be looked at as like. It's uncomfortable. Crazy. You don't want to people put, especially you're looking at somebody like Chuy. Yeah. You don't, man. She my age. She might know somebody I know. You don't want nobody knowing my business. Right. She's like educated and a professional to handle these type of situations, to help you handle these type of situations.
They're being prejudged.
Are there a lot of people that look like us in your field? Are there?
In some areas. Like I know now just from joining groups and stuff on Facebook, like there are some Black mental health professional spaces, and so I've actually started to like join those groups on Facebook, or when I see if I see something on Instagram, like let me jump in here and join it so that I can learn more. Right, like some of the stuff y'all talked about, yes, it is in the research. All the research that I'm doing right now, I pull the research, I'm looking at it, and this stuff comes from oppression.
Definitely.
And it's the idea that Black people are stronger, they're more resilient. I was reading an article and I just broke down because the article was saying that it was like I don't remember it was like almost like a foster home type situation. But anyway, they had Black girls there and they had white girls there. And they didn't give the Black girls any nurturing, any loving at all, because they were more resilient. They were stronger. What happens to a baby if you don't nurture them? like you are really hurting them mentally.
Definitely.
Because they don't feel that connection.
Yeah.
It's the trauma runs so deep.
It's crazy though. You even saw that in the Botham Jean case when the white lady got sentenced, and the black judge wanted to pray over her and do that. But if you sentence a black man for robbery or something, you don't care about none of that. You ain't gonna pray over this man or whoop the whoop. You gonna throw him behind the wall for 12 years and don't even care if he make it or not or survive or not.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Because just me looking at outside in, that's gonna be like a determining factor when it comes to our progress. Because I'm sure the caseload, the course load, and the teaching is not catered specifically to our people. You know what I mean? And we're not gonna feel comfortable seeking help until we see people that look like us in those type of positions.
Absolutely.
And after generations, of course, the people that Caucasians or whatever, they don't empathize with us. You know what I mean? So they don't realize the way they think we're so strong, we're so resilient because we've had to be. We've been conditioned to not have expressive feelings and things like that. Yes. So it's definitely going to take more of people like you that look like us in those positions for somebody to feel like, okay, whether I feel like I need help or not, let me just go sit down. You know what I mean? Or whatever like that. So that's what I was
and so they say that they suggest that you go and talk to, when you go and seek professional help and counseling and everything, that they suggest that you talk to people that are of your ethnicity and everything. How imperative is that, from your personal opinion?
I think it's very imperative depending on how you were raised, what you experienced, and what you're going through. And what I mean by that is like, so the therapist that I see, she's white. Have I had bad experiences with white therapists? Absolutely. The therapist that I have now, she just happened to understand, right? But it's still some things that I'm talking to her about. Like when I'm kind of on my soapbox about the strong black woman concept, she's like, man, if you weren't telling me that, I wouldn't know, kind of thing, right? But I have sat across from someone that didn't look like me, and she didn't understand. She didn't understand what I was talking about. She was blowing me off. And so it's, for everybody listening, it is important to shop around when you're picking a therapist. Do not just settle for the first one.
Everything.
Yes.
So would you say it's a case-by-case basis?
Case-by-case basis.
Dentists, cars, everybody.
Yes.
Doctors.
So, like, if someone, just say, you have to do this thing called broaching. And basically that's me acknowledging the fact that we come from two different spaces, whether you look like me or not. Like, all of us were born and raised here, right? We ate at each other's house. We know a whole lot about each other. But our experiences are still different. And so sometimes I can sit across from someone that's also a black female, or identifies as a black female, but she may have grown up in Northwest Arkansas. So
totally different,
her
bro.
Identity as a black woman may be different from mine. So when she comes to see me, first I'm talking to her about like my confidentiality clause, right? Like, everything we talk about here is confidential unless you tell me you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else. Then I have to keep you safe, right? And then after that, I'm going to say, I can see that you and I, we look similar. We may have had some similar experiences, but I also understand that you've had some experiences that I haven't had. And so I want you to feel comfortable with telling me if maybe it's something that you don't think I'm catching or that I understand. And so at that moment, I'm giving her the space to tell me, when I may say, I'm just wondering if anyone else in your space looks like you, right? Because as they're talking, what I'm thinking is, man, you're dealing with some microaggressions. But she may not realize that or think that because that's how she's been conditioned. Well, not conditioned may not be the right word, but that's her experience, right? I had a black male client who grew up in like a predominantly white area and made a comment that was like, man, that's kind of shaky coming from a black person, you know. In my brain, that's what I'm thinking. And I said, I'm just wondering how would you feel if someone called you that black person or that black guy? And they were like, oh, people do that to me all the time. Now, you looking at me like, wow. I'm offended,
but they've conditioned him.
But because of the space, right?
Conditioned him to accept it and
he
to
didn't
be.
know
And he look at other black people that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. He didn't understand that anything was wrong with doing that. And so, you know, it's one of those things that it's like, I have to, as a clinician, I have to understand that someone can look like me all day long, but it doesn't mean that their experiences are the same. And so when I walk into a space with someone, I have to leave, like I check me at the door, right? And one of the main things I kind of run through my head before I ask a question, before I take a client, you know, deeper, I'm like, is this about me or is this about them? Yeah. Because if it's about me, it doesn't matter because it's their time, it's their moment. And I tell my students that too, like, but when you're sitting in front of someone, is this about you? Or before you ask them a question, is this about you or is it about them? Oh, these are students
that you're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question, that made me hit on something. So have you ever been in a therapy session or counseling session and somebody said something? I'm sure maybe because you just spoke about the black guy. Somebody said something that triggered you, and you like had to immediately like check yourself.
Oh, absolutely. So I have been called the N-word several times.
In a
counseling session?
Yeah.
Was it like aggressive or
like called to you personally, or they just referring to
like by kids? No, hard ER by kids, like little kids, or they're just saying it all like, you know, we're running a group. And it's just like, you know, N-word. And so it is triggering, right? But so what a couple things I've done, well, it's coming from somewhere. So, right? Definitely. You're saying that with a hard ER. There's some aggression behind that. Where's that coming from? You know, so, and I'll say, man, you sound really angry. I'm wondering what you're so angry about. And I'm not approaching them with that same anger. Like my tone's calm.
I heard you change it right then.
Yeah. And if they're small, like I may even get down on their eye level. Like, man, buddy, you sound mad. That's gotta be hard feeling that anger.
Do that change?
This is taught too though, man.
Yeah,
it is taught.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. A lot of times they don't even know
what
why
it means
or what it means. And so I have used those moments to teach about it. So I therapeutically, right? Mm-hmm. So the next group I did, there's this book called Chrysanthemum. It's like a little mouse. But anyway, she's so proud of her name. And then she gets to school and everybody's talking about her name, like making fun of her name, the microaggressions that I get about my name, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's called the wrinkle heart activity. And so every time they hear the students say something mean about her, they crumple the heart, this piece of paper. They're crumpling it. Every time they hear something nice, because the perspective changes, the kids realize, like, wait a minute, this is actually something I need to be nice about. And so they try to straighten it out. But it doesn't straighten out.
It's already wrinkled.
It's already wrinkled. And so that's what I'm teaching them in that moment, right? Like, you
that's a great analogy,
unwrinkle a crinkled heart. Oh, wow. So we need to think about what we're saying before we're saying it.
And that goes into adults. Just with that analogy though, that goes into adults too, because after I've been hurt by so many times or by this like community of people, I'm gonna forever look at you this type of way. Like it don't get fixed. Like the wrinkles not coming out. Like the stuff y'all did or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Another question. Because I know about some personal experiences and things like that, but like, have you like met any like resistance in the professional field, like with you maybe like in the educational field, like, or like people shutting the door on you, or you just having hard times with clients, or like anything that just like, man, I don't know, this for me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some things really, it's like being in class settings. On the doc level now, it's a lot different than on the master's level. I feel like, because it's smaller. I feel like the professors that I have right now are more geared toward how can I help you, or what help me learn. Not that it's my job to teach them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not, but they're more so like, let's walk alongside each other and figure out, you tell me if I'm doing something wrong so I can fix it, kind of thing. But I mean, I've had classes with teachers. One teacher was like, this is the last semester, like the last day of class. Excuse me. And he's like, Shaniqua. Shaniqua.
Who are you talking to?
That you and me, we're doing the same thing, right? Shaniqua, one of you, because it's two black girls in the class,
That's
and
like
we're
saying,
sitting.
y'all look the same.
One of you,
Wow.
right? One of you.
He would have been
And so, you know, that
And this at a professional level.
yeah, he would have been a BAN at that moment.
And, I've had, you know, I'm working in a setting and someone's like, so what do you do again? What type of licensure do you have? Like, they're questioning me like I'm not supposed to have a seat at the table, right? And then I'm like, oh, well, actually, I have this and I have this. Oh, and I'm 3 classes away from that, you know, kind of thing. And so, yeah, I
That's
mean,
just frustration though, because you shouldn't have to pop your shit to make somebody like appreciate or respect. Just respect. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I had a colleague to interrupt a group that I was doing. Like, I'm doing my group with my kiddos, and when I say group, like group therapy. So interrupted my group to tell me that they heard kids using the N-word, and they wanted me to address it. You heard them saying it. Why didn't you address it?
I didn't hear it.
Why did it have to be me to address it? You know, just the month of September, I even went to my advisor and I was like, I don't know that being a black therapist in Northwest Arkansas is for me. Because of things like that. Like, I'm at work and I hear someone say the N-word. It was a patient, but an older one, right? Like, you're a full-blown adult. This isn't a kid. I finally got the kids to stop saying it, but now you're saying, then you say, oh, I didn't see you standing there. Not, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I didn't see you standing there. And none of the other staff members, like, they didn't bat an eye. Like, no one heard. Like, it was so, the verbiage was so normal that no one heard anything. You know, that all of this was in September. I also had 2 parents basically telling me that I didn't understand where they were coming from, because they were telling me that they're how aggressive and angry and violent and vicious, and insert any negative word that's said about young black males or black males in general. And I didn't understand it. And they were like, you know, I have to try to be careful with how I say it, you know, but they were reporting me and things like that because I didn't understand their perspective, because I looked like their kids, but I didn't look like them. And so I was like, man, I don't know if this is the space for me. You know,
this field period or their location where you?
I was thinking the location, you know, but at the same time, and, you know, my advisor and I, we talked about it and talked through it. And then, you you know, I had to channel my inner Eddie Lee, Papa. Like, you gonna let somebody run you off from what you do?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you do. This is what you went to school for. You can be here. You know, like, you have the right to be in this space. Don't let anybody take you from something that's yours, because people can take a lot of things from me, but
and not
care. But
wait, before you go into that, I want to, because I was just making sure I didn't get it correct. My cousin Chulyndria Laye, she is a lupus fighter and currently a lupus survivor. She has the Purple Wings Foundation.
My clinic is called practice. It's called Purple Wings Counseling Service.
So yes, I wanted to give a big shout out to you because I was in Fayetteville at the time where you found out you got diagnosed and was going through your struggles with that, and you know, you're just a fighter, still fighting and things like that. So like I said, I want to take my hats off to you and just just in person, because I know I show love, but you know, just
no.
Y'all gonna make me cry.
No,
that's okay. Let it out.
No, because that's a big thing
right
though.
now.
Nobody, your skin glowing and you flourishing and you striving,
yourself.
and that's something a lot of people don't make it out of.
Now, you said that your counselor is white, right?
Yeah.
And you also said that she happens to get it and to shop around.
Yes.
Have you ever been in a position where you had a client that you just wasn't getting through to, like you wasn't the one for them, and how did you handle that?
Yeah. So couple situations. I did have a client to not come back, and you know, that hurt. Like that was, I took it personal and I shouldn't have. Right? Because I've left someone's office before too, right? There's this thing where basically, like, you can disclose information to your clients if it feels right. You know what I mean? But I try not to disclose much because, I mean, like I said, it's not about me, it's about them.
Right.
But this client asked me specifically about my, like, spiritual affiliations or my religious affiliations, right? And I'm thinking, okay, I can either lie or I can tell the truth. If I lie and then something else happens and then I say something about it, they're not gonna trust me.
I lost them.
But then if I tell the truth, because of the person sitting in front of me, they may not come back. And that's how it was. They, you know, they kind of thought, man, this person's gonna judge me. I'm not coming back, kind of thing.
But that's also, and this is just my opinion, I'm not a therapist or a counselor, but that's also being weak-minded to me, because you're not willing to, you standing on what you believe in, but you're not willing to hear any, I guess, different perspective on it. You don't want to go against the grain, because you want to be, you know, you want to be comforted in your opinion. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I can kind of see both sides.
Yeah.
Because I was in a situation at one point in a relationship, and she was like, we should go get couples counseling, especially before we get married, if we wanted to do, like, go forward as far as a marriage thing. And
you have somebody want to marry you?
I ain't gonna say we both probably feel like that at the same time.
I was gonna let you finish.
But it's quite, her thing was she wanted a pastor to do it.
Yeah.
My thing, I don't give a damn who do it, as long as they're experienced in that field, in couples and relationships. That's what I cared about. You know what I mean? So I can see how somebody would feel like, okay, I can't really connect with them because we not equally yoked as far as spiritual wise. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because so if I'm led by whatever spiritual religion I have or practice I have, then you can lead me astray if you are atheist or if you are something different from what I am. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I think with this situation, I wouldn't say weak mind. Like, I wouldn't use that. I think it was honestly just, I don't think we can connect. And that's okay, right? Like, if you don't, when you're in a therapeutic setting, you want it to be a safe environment. If you don't feel safe, get out of there. I don't care if it's my office or someone else's. If you don't feel safe, because go ahead.
Define safe.
So I would say safe is like I can trust them. I can be my whole self. I honestly feel like this person isn't judging me. They allow me to be me. They allow me to express whatever I want to do or say, how I want to say it. Like, if you want to cuss, cuss, you know?
And this is real big because a lot of people think that, oh, I went to go talk to this person and I told them I was thinking about hurting myself and they reported. Like, she's a professional.
You got to keep them safe.
She has to,
Yes.
You have to report if they're going to cause harm to themselves
Absolutely.
or someone else.
Have you ever done, outside like the military, things like that, like detoxing or whatever, have you ever done therapy?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2016, when I got back from overseas, and 2 years ago before we moved back to Ward, and marriage counseling therapy and everything. So yeah.
Have you, P?
I've never done.
You've never done therapy?
No, and it kind of now it kind of like made me think of like what she was saying earlier about since she was doing everything and she's always the top at this and the top at that, like nobody really kind of checks on her because like a lot of people they come to me like the therapist.
You know you need therapy.
You know what I mean?
P,
I'm saying like now listen to her like she's like basically counsels people and she also goes.
That's my biggest thing because I ain't know that
like
that's
maybe
a counselor.
I might need to chop
that's
it
a
up
counselor
somebody,
that needs like because that's a big thing.
Before that, I didn't think. I'm like,
they teach you that in school.
I learned this though.
They
like,
teach you that in school.
I worked at, and she knows when I was in Fayetteville, I worked at a I'll just say a juvenile facility. Yeah, residential. And I brought a topic up. We said something in the group chat, and I was like, this, whoop, whoop, whoop. But that was the type of, that's the setting we was in. You know what I'm saying? And being in that setting, dealing with, just adolescent kids going through mental disorders and things like that, or sexual maladaptive behaviors, not understanding, bro. When you're a compassionate person and like, bro, that weigh on you, bro. Like I said, you go home with migraines and headaches and just things like and you feel compassionate about. Like I don't think I could work at a prison, bro, because I know some of these folks like good people. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. But yeah, that surprised me that even a counselor and a therapist seeks counseling.
Yes. That would have me. I was over there thinking about, damn, maybe I do need to go chop it up with somebody. I'm not against it at all.
I would tell everybody to just go. Like even if you just go for like 3 sessions, go. Because it's so different from talking to a friend. You know what I mean? Because for
conflict
one,
of interest.
But this person don't know you.
That's another thing.
They don't
just
like
talking to a friend because you might be talking about somebody that you already told them a bad story to, so they're gonna be on your side.
Yeah.
Or if it's shit like that. I went to marriage counseling. That was the first type of counseling I ever went to. Was I did 2 different people marriage counseling, premarital and like after we were married.
Oh, that made me think of a question. Okay, so when you started out, or maybe it's still a thing that you deal with, but of course, being in that field, you have to be very, very compassionate about people and helping.
Yeah.
But what about like not being attached? You know what I mean? Like
you gotta leave at the door.
Like, has it been difficult for you?
It's in some situations. There are a lot, especially with my kiddos. I see, depending on the age, I see my son, or I see my little sister, or or one of my nephews. Like depending on their age, I can really, really empathize with them. But in order for me to like keep doing what I do and not burn out, there has to be a line, right? And so because of how licensure works, so when you're in school, you have a supervisor, or like you have a supervisor at your site that you're interning at least at our school. You have a doctoral supervisor. Like I'm not doing it this semester, but I've supervised master's level counselors. And then you have a professor that's a licensed supervisor, right? So you're getting these checks and balances where you can, it's really called gatekeeping. And you're talking with them and kind of working through some stuff. You're processing stuff with them that you maybe
what you're seeing,
yeah. And so like where I'm at as an LAC, I have a supervisor that he supervises my licensure. So I meet with him every week and kind of go over my caseload. We talk about things kind of like when I was saying, hey, I don't know if I can be a Black therapist in Northwest Arkansas. That's who I went to process that with. But then I also have to get my own counseling, because what happens is I'm sitting across from someone and they're giving me their story and I'm feeling it. Like,
you want to give some of your story too?
Well, not that I want to give my story, but their story sounds similar to my story. Okay. And so it's kind of pulling at me a little bit. So I'm having like this countertransference. Like that's I'm feeling this countertransference. So basically I'm feeling I'm kind of having some emotions based on what you're talking about, because it's touching me. And sometimes that can come off like it can be this, I could be aggressive towards my client without realizing.
But that's what I was saying, like certain stuff that people say or do trigger you.
I have to do my own work. So I do go to therapy because I know when I got involved in mental health stuff, it's because I was dealing with stuff, right? And so when that stuff comes up for me, you know, then I have to really check it, right? Like miscarriages. I've had 4 at this point. And so there was a point where I couldn't sit in front of people and hear that and not have a reaction, you know. But now I've, you know, been doing work on it so much, I'm like, okay, I can sit with this person and hear their story now without going into my head and being, you know, in my own state while I'm trying to sit with someone. So I have to make sure that I'm in a clear space before I can sit with somebody. If I'm not feeling it, like if I'm having a rough day and I can't really manage my feelings, I'm not going to see any clients that day. I'm going to take a mental health day because I'm not going to be helpful to anyone if I can't even hear them.
Be able to get them
I want to maybe get, I don't know, maybe it's messy, but I just want to just, I don't know, just kind of get your perspective on it though. But like the whole, we've seen Naomi Osaka checking out of the tennis matches, and like Simone Biles checking out. And I want you to be real transparent.
Yeah, of course.
And not sugarcoat that. But do you think it's been a lot of excuses to back out from under pressure, or do you think just do you think some people use mental health as an excuse because you can't physically or like you can't say no, you not, like you just bullshitting right now, or do you just? Can
I cut you off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely not.
Of course you would say that.
No, but listen, this is real. Like this is you're touching on. This is my research, right? Like these are young Black women who give the world their all. People watch them every day,
social media
all
make it
day.
worse.
Social media makes it worse. And the one time they say, hey, I need a break. Being strong is hard. Being resilient is hard. Being here for your entertainment is hard. I can't do it today. The moment they say that, the world turns on them and they're like, oh, you're just using mental health as an excuse, because what does the world expect of them? To be strong,
to just shut up and dribble,
to be resilient.
Shut up and go do.
Yeah.
But
shut up and dribble, like the lady told LeBron. Yeah.
And so what do y'all define as resilient? Yeah.
My definition personally
is
just
a gray area.
I don't know. I
think it's a gray area and it's finish
the task.
You know what I'm saying? Cause
man, it's facing adversity, being able to bounce back.
No, yeah, definitely,
and like counteract things. So if a person, just say a negative Nancy in the workplace, you would dodge negative Nancy in the workplace just so you won't have to deal with it.
No. Tell negative Nancy, stay your ass away from me. You know shit. You know how I am.
But you know, if you talk about the workplaces, I mean, it sound good, but you work with them, so you still gonna have to deal with them to a certain extent, depending on what you're doing. You know?
Not really. But if you counteract negative Nancy and you actually start throwing something back at her, where her wheels is turning,
No, I'm just saying, get away from me is not the end all be all thing.
Yeah, but I never said get away from.
No, he said it.
Oh, okay. But you just have to counteract those things, and you have to learn to deal with it and go through those things, so you actually know, like, hey, just like what Jay said, hey man, I need my space.
Yeah, and you got to be able to set boundaries.
Yeah,
like I kind of go through that a lot with people. It's okay to set boundaries because culturally, we don't really have them. Like, think about growing up around here. How many times did we really call people before we went to their house? Or did we just show up? Like, think about it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, before we had cell phones, was anybody calling somebody's house phone like, hey, LJ, you at home? I'm about to come over there. Or were you telling your mama, drop me off at LJ house or walking over there or something? You know what I mean? Right. We give people so much of us. Mm-hmm. And when we get tired, people get mad at us for saying we're tired. But no, I am. You think about all the different spaces in which people are draining us mentally. When I say us, I mean our culture. You have, for one, you've always been told you got to work harder, right? Definitely. So regardless of the space you're in, if you're thinking athletes, if you're thinking construction workers, you're thinking teachers, whatever the case may be, if there's someone beside you that looks different from you, your headspace is already, I got to work twice as hard just to get where this person is. And then you think about, okay, if you have kids or family that you're taking care of, the financial strain, the stress there, like that's pulling from you mentally. Then you think about the fact that you got to hold everything inside. I just got to push through. So all of those emotions that you aren't letting out, they're eating at you. Yeah. And so they're going to come out at some point. And when they come out, what do they look like? Anger, aggression. So now you are the angry black woman, or you're this violent black man that everybody was waiting to see, right? Or you're just weak because they're so used to black people saying, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm pushing through, I'm showing up every day. And this idea didn't dawn on me until this past year, right? We're like, okay, I am working multiple jobs. I'm a full-time doctoral student. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm a caregiver to my mom. And then I'm in these spaces, I'm at work or at school, and people are like, you're so strong. I don't see how you do all that. I couldn't do it. And in my head, I don't have an option. Yeah. If I don't do it, it won't get done. Yeah. Right? And so is it a great thing or a positive thing to be strong? I think so.
I think it's a choice.
But it's also
sometimes
eating you up internally. Huh?
I said, what you gonna do if you're not gonna be strong?
But see, it's not an idea of not being strong. It's the idea of self-care. Taking some time to say, I need a moment. I need to go talk to somebody. I need to be by myself.
I'm big on that.
But then what happens when we're by ourselves? We're thinking about all the stuff that we should have been doing, could have been doing, need to be doing. You're not really taking that space because you haven't.
That time is being wasted.
Yeah, because you haven't talked about it.
A transparent moment. I had a coworker that was in my office that I helped get hired. You know, it was a black girl, and she was kind of like problematic. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did some stuff in the office. Like, I work in a corporate setting. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of white people. It's probably, office 30 white people, 3 black people, 4 black people, and stuff like that. And I'm always standing on staying with my people and stuff like that and supporting it. But it's certain shit. Like, a lot of people think, I don't know if I'm just in the, but it's certain shit that's not acceptable from white or black. You know what I'm saying? It's professionalism at the first point. And I used to call out on a lot of shit and she like, oh, you Uncle Tom and stuff like that. I was like, no, you being stupid. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's a scapegoat for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't want to be accountable.
Don't want to be held accountable.
That part.
Yeah, and I got on her ass about a lot of shit because like I was, you know, her superior, but I was like, bro, like you in here causing scenes, you're not showing up on time, you're not, you know, doing what you're supposed to do, and then you causing a distraction that's not warranted for, you know what I'm saying? And we not in the majority, you know what I'm saying?
No leverage.
You're making us look bad.
For real. So that was just, I don't know, just something I want, but like it's like a lot, some black people, you know, that you want to look at. I got her hired. I literally like told the person who interviewed her, yeah, she'll go, she'll green light. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew somebody who knew her. I looked out for her, and it's just sometimes like shit. Like I was at the same time, I was a person that was like, is she still fit? And I was like, no.
You know who you are. Get it together.
No, like I was telling my wife a month before she got fired, like she finna get fired. You know what I'm saying? And she came to me. They came to me a month later, and they was like, "What you think?" And I was like, "She gotta go." She was toxic for the office, but it was like some black people. You could be the mad black woman, or you don't have to be, or just the mad black dude, or just. It's a time and a place.
That's, for me was
it's a time and a place.
She's late, and see. My thing is, man, I was always, you know, raised up to like, you know, have a backbone, stand up for what you believe in, and don't go for anything, you know. But also to have your shit in order. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna have no attitude about no discrepancies at work that I'm a disadvantage of. If I'm not on my shit,
don't give them no reason.
If I've been late 3 times this week, I didn't called in. I done had a flat tire every day. You know what I mean? Like I ain't gonna be stirring up, you know, nothing. So
you gonna try to be low.
Accountability, like yeah, I'm getting low because I'm already in a chopping block for real.
Yeah,
you know, so.
I just don't say it, but
accountability is a big thing, man.
We code switch a lot too. Well, we're taught. A lot of us are taught.
I'm kind of coming out of it though, bro, because I'm at the point where like. Man, it is what it is with me. Like if I live in Texas. I work in Texas. Like proud Republicans, gun-toting, boot-wearing Republicans. You know what I'm saying? Truck driving, like them type of guys. Like talk shit about Biden every day. Mm-hmm. You know, praise Trump when he was in office. Shit like blatant shit that trigger people. I get triggered too.
Like Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, it's like Northwest Arkansas. But as a black man, it's different though because I know. Like, when I stand up, it's going to be a scene. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no way of, like, checking nobody not, like, feeling like, oh, shit, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I like, bite my tongue on a lot of shit just to keep the peace. And I would like to say, it's an office of 30 people. You know what I'm saying?
But that's bad, though.
Yeah,
but you bite your tongue because you building it up.
Yeah.
So the delivery ain't gonna be
if you went to therapy, you could talk about it there.
I can talk about it therapy, but it ain't gonna do nothing because she gonna stick. Like it don't bother me.
It's biting your tongue.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna let nobody disrespect me because it don't like it focuses because I know like you put in it. They don't be pushing towards me because they didn't help me do shit. I didn't help them do shit. Oop to oop. Like they cool people. They views just different from mine. So that's my thing. Our views different. You not a bad person. Our views just different. Mm-hmm. Nobody gonna personally disrespect me. You know what I'm saying? Then it's different. But it's just shit like that. Yeah, like I just like our views different. I hear you talking about some thing that I disagree with. I'm just gonna like put my headphones in and just keep typing.
Yeah, because what I've learned, I had to learn how to hold my tongue in certain situations.
Hold your peace. Yeah.
I'm an Aries moon. Like when my emotions, when I feel something, it's like fire. It's like right now. You know what I mean? So I had to learn to step back and process. Is it really that serious?
Is it worth
right
it?
now? Because I have to learn how to not take my emotions in the workplace.
Out of the workplace.
Avoid, because if it ain't affecting my personal, all right, yeah, y'all doing y'all, okay, cool.
But tying that into a mental health perspective, the more you're doing that, right? The more you're muting yourself, the more you're listening to this, the more you're in this environment that's unsafe or unwelcoming for you, what's that doing to you?
That's my thing. It's not a situation where it's unsafe for, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that extreme.
Yeah.
It just might be some shit that
mentally unsafe for you.
I don't feel like I'm mentally because it's like after I walk out the office.
Cause that's like you go to the grocery store, you got Trump people, you got Biden people, you got Obama people, you got, you know what I'm saying? And that's all y'all opinion. It's not affecting me.
You get off the phone and you call me, man, he goddamn Trump.
But I'm not a Trump hater though.
I'm just saying, like, if you spoke on it, then you saw that and it bothered you.
No, but it's just shit like this. It's shit like this, like you know, most black people voted for Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, most white people voted for Trump.
Definitely.
And then I'm sitting in the office. I voted for Biden. I voted for, but they in the this motherfucker doing this. And when Trump was in there, they're like, you know, it's just, but it's like, man, I don't know.
Okay, but for people that's not y'all, right? Because y'all got it together, right?
I ain't got it together. I was gonna tell you before P cut me off.
I might not have it together.
No, before P cut me off. My mic on, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I couldn't hear myself. I was talking loud. But no, before people cut me off, I was saying I did the premarital counseling and I did the postmarital counseling, you know, just on a different thing. But the therapist was like,
Individual?
Yeah. She said that and I was like, yeah, I bet you would like to have me individually.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, because I bet you would like to get it.
Some more bread.
I immediately, like when I was there with my wife, I'm open, but I'm like, I immediately put a wall back up. I'm like, you ain't doing that.
Well, I would say go see someone that's not her. Right?
Yeah,
like,
she know my wife.
If y'all, because conflict, it's a conflict of interest because she knows you in one way. So, you just said something very important. You put a wall back up.
She was just saying, though, she could see you got some other shit, deeper shit affecting you.
Yeah. And, you know, I think you said you put a wall back up. She knows my wife, right? I think that happens a lot of times when I'm, like, advertising stuff, right? Or people that I see and I'm like, man, we need to talk. Like, I can tell by your post today that we need to talk. But I won't say that to them because they're like, I know her.
You too close to her.
That's just Chuy. Like, you know what I mean? I know her brothers or, you know, I know her cousin. I know her dad. Like, I knew her when she was little kind of thing. And so you don't talk to anybody. But what could have happened with that lady, or what could have happened with someone else, is give them referrals. I did that to someone just like 2 days ago. That.
That's a great idea.
But you shut her off when you said
I ain't say publicly. She just saw my face. She was like, she literally looked at me. She was like, yeah, you're not going for it, are you? And I was like,
you built that wall up that you could possibly get trapped in.
Verbal communication. She saw it.
Yeah. I had my bad, go ahead.
But you brought up something real interesting. So a lot of people know you as Chuy, you know, as dance team Chuy, as the band major Chuy, high school Chuy, you know.
It's Chulyndria now. It's Laye.
I actually go by Lynn. Because of the microaggressions that I get with my name. It's crazy. But my name is on my stuff, but I say because they'll call me whatever. Yeah. They'll, like I said, the teacher was calling me Shaniqua. No. Like they will call me whatever.
That was the thing though, microaggressions. Because like my name gets slaughtered so much, like when I order food and stuff like that, like McAllister's, Chick-fil-A, whatever, I tell them Jeff. Because you're going to spell my name wrong. You're going to say my name wrong. You're going to say Edwin, Devin, whatever. You're going to say everything but Stedman.
A lady walked into my house to like work with my mom. And I promise you I put her out within 5 minutes. So she stood at the door. When I opened the door, she grabbed her bag. Like
they black.
Tight.
Oh, no.
They black. Right. And then I invite her into my house. And she's just looking. I invite her in. And she's like, Chulyndria,
she could have just
like
she said,
I don't know.
Hey, ma'am.
No, but then she says, she said,
what do you go by?
I'm never gonna get this. I'm not gonna say it. I don't even know why I tried.
What?
Oh yeah,
BAN.
And and she was just standing in the corner, and she's like, yeah. So, what do y'all want me to call y'all?
I would have been her off.
Y'all.
I was like, you can leave. It's okay. We don't even need services today. She showed up like 2 hours late too. So I was already upset. I was like, you can leave. We don't even need services today. And I fired that company and got with someone else. But yes, like that happens. And so, yeah, it's craziness.
2 questions. As far as your private practice, how do you go about attracting clients? And on the flip side, you leaving work and going home. Do you ever feel like you go home and you work again with your family?
Balance.
It's not really. So what as far as advertising, the majority of my people I get from something called Psychology Today. It's like a website where people can search for therapists, and I have a profile on that. And so Psychology Today.
Is it an app?
I'm sure you can probably. It's a website like psychologytoday.com.
I'm just asking for the people.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it's also I'm on Facebook as Purple Wings Counseling, and then my email address is lynn@purplewingscounseling.com. But yeah, so that's how I get most of my people, and then from people that I have or I started with, then they refer other people. So I guess I'm doing a good job. They keep referring people. Yeah. But that's how I've gotten people so far. As far as working home, so for one, I have a little bit of a drive between work, school, and home because work and school is in Fayetteville. I live in Rogers. So that's a little bit of a drive to where I can play my music as loud as I want to and sing, listen to a book, listen podcasts. Like I can, or not listen to anything at all, right? And just kind of blow out the day. And when I say, I mean like deep breathe out the day.
Decompress.
Yeah. And those are all coping skills, right? That's all stuff that I teach people to do.
I think that's one of the things where you always hear men talk about that, like they just sit in the car. I think women probably do it too.
I sit in the car in Walmart parking lot. I sit there all the time. Or it's sit in my garage. Like the car's off. Yeah. I'm just sitting there, and then when all the lights go out, then I get up and go in the house. But I take my time to like get that out because Tristan will tell me if I'm using play therapy terms with him, he'll say, "Mom, not the playroom."
For real?
Yeah, because I've used him to like record with.
Use him as a guinea pig.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, when I'm teaching, because I can show those videos.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm okay with showing me and my kid to my students versus a client.
Yeah.
Right, because then it's there, I try to keep their stuff confidential, but he'll say, "Mom, not that playroom talk," and I try not to, even though I think the communication skills are great. I try not to do that with my husband because I don't want him feeling like, well, she's conceptualizing me.
I ain't no kid. You gonna give me a playroom talk? I ain't no kid.
It would be hard for me, like for just like being married to somebody who's like just. I'm probably thinking she's probably not, but I'm just probably thinking she's psychoanalyzing me. Like, have you ever got any pushback? Like, it's just like you trying to overthink me, or you trying to think what I'm thinking, or you trying to.
No, sometimes I'm like, excuse me, I'm like.
I think all women what you say?
But she's a professional though, psychoanalyze.
I think all women psychoanalyze.
No, a lot of women try to, but she's a professional.
Well,
trying to read.
I can kind of tell him sometimes, like I know that you're feeling like what's wrong, and he'll be like nothing, and I'll leave, and then later I'm like, you sure you're okay, kind of thing, because. It's not only in like the words that are coming out of his mouth, but the body language,
actions, moves,
nonverbal
tone,
skill. Like that stuff shows you can look at somebody. Sometimes I can just be in a room with somebody. I'm like, man, you going through a lot. Like I can see it on your face.
It's kind of like you a prophet in some sense.
It's body language.
She's not Jesus' little sister.
It's body language.
You tried.
Listen, I would appreciate the gift if I had that gift, but no, it's looking at their body language, man. But so another quick thing about mental health though, this season that we're in brings on a lot of seasonal depression.
Holiday?
The fall. So
holidays.
it gets darker and gloomier sooner, right?
Missing people that's
not there.
like the family
For some people,
family gatherings.
home is not a safe place. Like, and you think about, okay, college, the campus gonna close down. I gotta go home. You know,
Colleges, a lot of people escape. They finally get away from somebody who's been.
Yes, and think about, and with COVID too, people talk about like the health things that are going on or financial strains, but people aren't talking about the mental health strains. Like, you had kids at home with their abusers. You know, you had spouses at home with their abusers, and that can go either way, right? You had people who lost family members to this, and they don't, you know, what if you were the one that got sick and then you gave it to, you know, someone else and then they died? Now you feel responsible. Yeah, like, you know, it's so many things that's happening and people don't talk about. You lost your job, you lost a loved one, you lost, like, if I think about the stuff that, you know, my family and I went through in 2020, that, you know, no one in the house had COVID, but like when my mom got sick, that was April 1st, right? So that was a big transition for my brothers and I, like a big transition. And so at the same time, you can't be around people. You scared, like, and then I have lupus. So it's like, okay, I'm trying to be careful when I go places, but hey, I need to work. So some people I'm seeing mental health online, but then some people I'm seeing them in the actual office because it's different. Like, that's being in that environment, being in that space is just different. So, you know, this time of year, the holidays, this season can bring up a lot for people. And you kind of see an influx in people seeking counseling or people in inpatient facilities. And, you know, like, not that they're not trying to discourage anyone from going there, but saying, hey, like, if we can do anything to end this stigma and, you know, tell people, go talk to somebody, get some help. Think about just with the people that we know. How many people do we know have lost a family member to this season, or this, you know, within the past few months, whether it was some type of violence or an illness or, you know, COVID, like whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
I was saying that
It's heavy.
I don't deal with it a lot, but I was talking to my wife about it. We was watching like Love and Hip Hop Miami, and like Trina, her brother like died. It was like the week of her brother dying. It was like she like shut down for the whole week.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't relate to like how somebody, but everybody goes through losses and depression like differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good point. I would say, cause like kind of in rapping, I got a 3-part question I want you to hit on.
Okay.
What type of advice would you give a parent with a kid struggling?
Mm-hmm.
What type of advice would you give with a parent with kids and the parent is struggling? And what type of advice would you just give to a young adult that's struggling, trying to get through?
Okay.
That's three things.
So I'm gonna start with this. Like advice is something I don't typically. If you're in a session with me, you're not getting advice.
I like that.
It's a little conflict of interest to give advice, right?
And it's
that's
not
like your
about me.
opinion.
I guess you're right, because everybody's
right.
different. So
but
yeah.
I think that, and so
But you're asking outside of just specifically
right. No.
profession.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that, but I wanted to say that because there's this misconception that when people see a therapist, the therapist is giving you advice on what to do with your life. If your therapist is doing that, run. Like, go find somebody else.
I kind of thought that too. So that's a good thing that you said.
Yeah,
that,
no, that's not the point. You can get advice from your friend, and it's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Like, so WINGS, in Purple Wings, it stands for Working to Inspire and Nurture a Greater Self. I feel like, or I believe that people already possess within themselves the things that they need to change, or the things that they, that the tools, right?
Yeah.
They just need my help with guiding them on this journey to bring it out, because it may be blocked. You need my help connecting the dots, right? So if I'm sitting with somebody and you're telling me that you're blocked, like you don't know why you're feeling the way that you're feeling or thinking the way that you're thinking, I'm probably gonna put you in the sand, which is a sand tray. I brought it. I'll have it tomorrow at the event. But
at the fall festival.
Fall festival, yes.
Fall Nick.
But it is because we all we have our you can call it upstairs brain and downstairs brain, or that's how I kind of talk about to kids about it. But you have this one piece that's really logical and this one piece that's really creative, and the two don't always work together. And so, and our brain is protecting us, and so sometimes things happen, but we have no recollection of it because our brain has filed it away and locked it up in a cabinet, or in a file cabinet, if you want to think of it that way. But we get triggered because we hear something, we smell something, the wind blew and it brought a smell from somebody's fragrance, and you're like, that's it. That person that used to come in the room at night and touch me, that smell, that's what that was. Or I was blindfolded and I got, whatever. Like, that's how trauma works. Or it takes you back to that place when you were overseas and you heard fireworks, but you thought it was gunshots. Like, that's how trauma works. So our brain kind of protects us and files that away. Okay, but back to what you were saying. Sorry, I kind of get off on tangents. But for a parent that may have a kid that's struggling, first off, see the signs. And try not to think that this can't happen with my child. And what I mean by that is if your child is capable of making good grades, if your child is capable of completing all the chores that they need done, if your child is capable of insert any positive thing, if your child is capable of doing those things, your child is also capable of hurting themselves. Your child is also capable of, hurting someone else or struggling with something, right? Because we try not to see it, but we notice behavior changes. Your child used to be really outgoing, upbeat, but now they're quiet. They're always in their room. They don't want to go anywhere. They change the way they dress. They change the way they look. Something happened to cause that change. What was that? So their grades are slipping, or they're more focused. Like, they're always studying. Like, they're striving really hard, and they're struggling with anxiety because they're not perfect. This sense of perfectionism, that can happen as well. I was at a training last week and watched this video. The parents showed this video where they did a testimonial. Their child died by suicide. The child was had like this aggressive, they got angry and impulsive and like broke a screen or something like that. They replaced it, but then the next time it happened, it was too much for the child to bear. Like, I don't know because I wasn't there, but the child died by suicide, but that aggression came out of something. And so I would say, parents, don't negate the signs. Don't turn a blind eye. Like, don't say, oh, they're just a teen, they're going to get through it. Let them get some help.
That's a big message right there.
Yeah.
Especially with our people, because it's so many stories of our parents, our loved ones sweeping things like that under the rug. And like it never happened. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Because, and what I was talking about this last night in my presentation, but what happens is you also understand as an adult that when you send your child to this therapist, they are also a mandated reporter. So if your child tells them that you gave them a spanking, right? Like if that's how your parenting style, you feel like you're going to get your kids taken away. But a spanking and beating your child, those two different things.
Yeah. But children is extra too. They might say, it might just be a little tap. They might say, "Mama beat me." Mm-hmm. They might say that.
Yeah, and when you have that fear, right, are you going to take your child to a therapist? Because you already have that fear, right?
Yeah.
So
I did something wrong and they're going to put me in jeopardy.
Right. And so that's kind of how the stigma keeps perpetuating or why it gets swept under the rug. But I would say that small possibility and the possibility of your child hurting themselves, like if you put the two beside each other, get your child some help.
Okay, so is there something different between if they had a session with you at the hospital versus a private session? As far as what you report?
What I report, no. Like, reporting is...
It's your private, so you still have to report if you...
Yeah, I'm a mandated reporter. Okay. So if you're telling me that someone is actively, like, hurting you to the point where you got bruises, or you telling me they drug you down the street, or somebody's touching you in places that's inappropriate, like, I have to report those things because at that point the kid's not safe.
But you would be a person that children how they can be, so you would dig in to really find out what really
It's
happened.
Not my job to investigate it.
I'm saying as far as having the conversation with them, because they might say it was a beating, but it was just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and sometimes like some stuff by the way that they told you.
Yeah.
That like
they hit me in the head. You ain't got no bruises.
Well, even with like, oh, they hit me in the head, and you're like, tell me more about that. It was like this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, right. Like, okay, we were playing and we were talking about this, and they said, "Boy, you silly," that kind of thing. But it's not my job to investigate it. That's someone else's job, And honestly, when we report stuff, they ask you questions and they say, they'll tell you if it's founded or not. Like, if you have enough information for them to go investigate. But see, it's not on me at that point. It's on them because I've done my part. So if the situation gets bigger, like if somebody gets really hurt or the kids end up get taken away or whatever, and it comes back like, well, the therapist knew. I told the therapist, well, look in your records. The therapist reported it. I did my part because I can lose my license for not reporting something. But it's like that. Don't let that small possibility be the determining factor of whether you get your child help or not. Mm-hmm. Because kids, like, social media is so big. It came when we were older, but kids now there's TikTok videos encouraging them to do stuff, or like some kids have these like cutting packs, and where they're like a group of friends, they're all of them are cutting. And they're doing it in places that people can't see. Mm-hmm. And so if your kid's not playing a sport or something where you see them in shorts, you may never even know.
Cut themselves behind their knee.
And they're hurting. And then you have like Snapchat where you think pictures and stuff is going away, but then you get the memories a year later, so it didn't go away, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you have kids sending pictures, and then now the whole school has a picture of me. Right? What is that doing to me mentally? Yeah. So, man, it's and if I see kids at the hospital, it's because they're actively suicidal. Like they've told someone they're gonna hurt themselves, or they've told someone that they're gonna hurt them. It's not safe for them to not be in the hospital.
I had one more question. Me personally had one more question for you.
Yeah.
And as hindsight. You being a mother, you being a professional in the counseling, therapy field, being a wife, what advice would you, and I'm saying advice because
No,
this is.
I get it.
What advice would you give your parents on raising a child or something like that? What advice would you give that maybe as a child you want to say or you felt or like as now you see like, you know, it could have been different in some shape, form, or fashion?
Yeah, you're asking like my parents?
Yeah, like what advice would you give them?
To check in. Like, ask me if I'm okay. You know, talk to me about what I'm feeling. You know, even ask me, like, you're doing a whole lot of stuff. Why you like to do so much? Mm-hmm. Even now, as someone in their 30s, like, I can't help but do a bunch of stuff. I don't know what to do with idle time.
Sleep, that's what I do.
I never, because it was a coping skill. It became
stay busy
because when I'm busy, I don't have to think. Mm-hmm. And when I don't have to think, I don't have to deal with stuff, right? But if I had learned at an early age how to talk about my feelings or how to talk about things that were going on, then I probably wouldn't have that, right? Mm. Like my son, I'm like, okay, so how are you feeling? And he's like, I'm really frustrated. Man, that sounds tough. He's 5. It's like, man, that sounds tough. What's got you so frustrated? And he'll tell me, right? But if I didn't give him that space,
you would never know that.
Yeah, like I used to whine a lot. And they're like, stop all that whining. Now I will not let people see me cry. Just not gonna do it. You know, I'm a little more vulnerable now because of the space that I'm in, and I've learned to deal with it. But for the most part, nah, I'm gonna sit in my car. You know, when our grandfather died, I cried in the shower.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that because it was kind of a weird. It wasn't weird, but like you were at my house in Texas. I was in Arkansas shooting, and we were talking like before and after, and I was telling you what we were shooting about. And you was like, I see how I feel when I watch that. Mm-hmm. You know, and I told you I was like, we were talking about grandpa and loss and death and after that. And then like afterwards, like you were at my house for the barbecue, and she was like, I literally like laughed. I cried.
Whatever the name of,
Yeah. She was like, I went through all those emotions. And you were just like, even when we were on the phone, I was talking about it. Well, no, we were in person. And you was like, y'all touched on a lot of emotions of grief. And I like went through some of those.
In
just
stages.
Like, that's, I think just you being a woman too. And the fact that you're like a professional, like therapist, like you're in tune with your feelings and emotions and stuff like that.
Sometimes.
Well, you're a woman, so you're never really into it.
Don't do
that's
that.
different.
And that's why she still encourages to go
to therapy. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And if it's not like because of the people in my space, they're all therapists, right? Yeah. At school and like in class and stuff. So I have my friends, or it's my school friends that I talk to, and they can hold that space for me, just like my therapist will hold the space for me. And what I mean by that is they're letting me talk, they're empathizing with me, and they're telling me, man, that sounds hard. That sounds overwhelming.
So do you think that's 100% like possible for men? Do you think men can be comfortable in that same space?
I think so.
I think I can. Because you don't even know me. I can really, you know what I mean? You won't have an opportunity to judge me, and if you do, I don't care.
I'm saying no.
You know
I'm saying amongst their homies.
Oh,
like because I've tried to do it. Like in the group chat, I've been like, yo, we finna like.
That ain't the place.
No. You got some of your best friends. No,
you said, yo, we finna what?
What did I say? I was trying to do like a self-check, like on everybody.
Check in.
Yeah, I was really trying to, like, I don't know if you remember, bro. I was really like trying to do like a self-check-in on everybody. I was trying to see how everybody was feeling and whoop the whoop, and motherfuckers was like, oh, you trying to be on that I am athlete shit. And I was like, yeah, I got it from there, but like, let's chop it up.
Better if you did it separate, like text everybody separately, you know what I mean? In a
Some
group,
certain
like
people don't be wanting
watching.
other people know their business and stuff.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I think you have to.
But you got some of your best friends in this
start it
group.
somewhere. You got to start it somewhere. Like you got to like start opening that space and say, hey, like, bro,
like
this is a cool
it's
place.
about making them feel comfortable.
Yeah,
They not comfortable with everybody watching.
We feel
everybody
comfortable
listening.
sharing everything else, but you don't want to feel vulnerable.
because that's that's the key.
Exactly.
That's the key.
You're comfortable with not machismo.
Machismo.
Me ain't got too much pride.
Definitely.
Pride is a big
Ego,
thing
yeah,
too.
definitely.
Pride coming
You
for the
know?
fall.
But if you're in a therapeutic setting, you're safe in that setting to where this person is bound by law to not go tell anybody what you say.
They might tell their husband might tell somebody.
No, absolutely not. Even the stuff that I've talked to y'all about today,
You said bound
none
by
of
law,
it-
so if that came out, would you go to jail?
I could lose my license for sure. So like, if anything that I've shared,
That's like a lawyer.
It's
So
got,
would you lose
like
your
client
license
privilege.
if Oprah came to you and she told you like she's definitely been with Joe Biden and so, like some crazy shit like that? Like,
Really, man?
what?
Really?
I'm saying if somebody
It's
of
really
that
tough.
stature,
And I told yes.
she'll lose her license, but
Yeah.
it'll be
Is
probably
that
worth
really
her
30%?
having the
Yeah.
tea though.
It
That's what I'm
ain't, it
saying.
ain't worth it.
So what
Because
like
at that
what
point,
like it is,
somebody
like a
can
check
take-
or a handshake or what?
You might get a show though, so
What?
you might
What
get a
like
show, a
it
TV
is?
show.
What can I tell you that you can't tell nobody else? I gotta pay you or like shake your hand or say, hey, you my therapist.
I'm not wearing my therapist hat with you. Like we can talk.
No,
but
I'm just saying.
you
I'm
don't
just
get
saying
to-
somebody
we're not-
off the street. What if they want to come tell you something? It's like, hey, now Chuy, you my therapist. You can't tell nobody else.
Well, hey,
Man,
okay.
y'all been unrealistic.
They
no,
are.
it's like
They are, but it's
stuff
okay.
happens.
I just so even I will also say to people like, okay, in this moment, like, what do you need from me? Right? Like, Stephen, if you call and we're just talking, right? We just talk like that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've pretty much given you therapy
I
a
would say
lot
we
of
do
times.
therapy without,
And it's not
Not a
called
formal
therapy,
therapy, yeah.
right?
It's
I'm not
venting.
sitting across from you in my office.
He wants you to start sending the cash out requests.
I will do that.
Yeah, that's-
I can do that.
I see your
Yeah.
request for
That's-
$15.
that's what we want.
I can do that. Yeah.
But I was asking this earlier because ever since we started this platform, that's been like
There's been
one
a
of
bunch of people
the
hitting us up.
that's been like one of the heavy topics. Like, hey, when y'all gonna do mental health? When is it coming and everything? And specifically in this region, Southeast Arkansas, where all of us grew up at, and that's why I said going back to these are the people that seen you as a kid grow up, and it's okay. People have to realize that, hey, I'm not that person that I once was. I went through these stages, and here I am as a licensed professional counselor. Here, this is how I can assist you. How do you get through to those people?
I've actually had the opportunity to do that a couple times. And I just try to create a safe space, let them know it's a safe space. And then when they see that we're just having a conversation, they ease up. Like they feel more comfortable. And so what we're doing right now, like how we're just talking, that's really how it is in a session, man. Like we laugh, we talk, now I'm gonna kind of
Your hour be up before you know it.
your hours up before you know it, yes. And like I am engaging you with questions or like allowing you to expand on something. And you're doing it, it's easier to do it because you're comfortable already. But if you're focused on like, man, is she gonna tell this person, ooh, I know 3 people that she know, like I wonder if she gonna say something about that. If I don't address it, then you're gonna be worried the whole time or not talk to me, and a lot of times it's me referring people out, or we do a couple sessions and that's that, because I've really tried to promote here because I know we don't have many options in this space for mental health. And so if I can just start the conversation, if I can get you to like, okay, I'm going to see you 2 times, then I refer you or help you find somebody somewhere else closer, great. But you've already started.
I would say, yeah. Would you do like Zoom or something? Like,
Yeah,
would that
I
be
do.
easier for people?
Yeah, so I because I live in Arkansas, or my license is in Arkansas, I can counsel anyone in Arkansas. So one thing that came from COVID was like telehealth.
Yeah.
And so I have people like through Southeast Arkansas that I meet with virtually. And so we just meet on a virtual platform. It's safe, it's secure for therapists. I mean, we have to pay for it, but it's HIPAA compliant, and we meet over that platform and go. Now, is it different from being in the same space? Absolutely.
I did my
But
probation on Zoom.
it's probably even more beneficial because now people that social interaction, people don't have that anymore. They rather talk to you through an app. Or
I don't know. I think our age range different though. We kind of got best of both worlds. I think maybe for the younger generation, people are socially awkward and refer to be like social media or like text or like Zoom. But a lot of our generation is still like hands on, face to face.
Well, you also have people that feel safe in their homes, right? Like if I'm in my room, I can talk to you. Because I'm not in your space or in your office. Yeah. I'm not in the shrink's office.
It's
you know,
my
those
normal everyday environment.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing with like being able to come into the shrink's office too and becoming comfortable. Like you just setting a comfortable environment for them though.
You mentioned something about some sand for tomorrow. Like what's that?
Sand tray therapy. Excuse me.
It's the praying sands for you.
Come by my table tomorrow.
It's the praying sands for you.
No, come by my table tomorrow.
But it's gonna be passed once they see it anyway.
No, and we're gonna be live once they see it anyway. So we're gonna be live. We live.
Maybe we live.
We're gonna be live. Hey, and real quick before we roll out, hey, do you have a game or anything you like to play with us?
A game to play with y'all?
Anything?
I don't know. You put me
I
on
got
the
one.
spot.
So
okay.
I got one. I ain't got a game, but so if you're watching this and you don't know when exactly you should seek help, you know.
Oh.
So when do you think somebody should seek help? You know,
that's a tough question. I think somebody should seek help if they honestly and truly feel like they don't have anybody to vent to. Because I think it kind of, if they do, then it can kind of like ease the situation. If they feel it really feeling stressed or depressed or whatever. To be able to vent to somebody, but if you really don't feel like you can vent to somebody, definitely I feel like that would be the time to seek help.
I agree with you. I respect your opinion. I disagree with it though because I was in a position.
But this our own personal life.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. No, I said I respect. Well, my thing is,
but no, you gotta give you gotta say when you want them to seek help.
When you want people,
when I want people to seek help.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
okay. Because all right. No, I was just saying I had people to vent to, and I still didn't talk to them.
Well, you didn't.
But it wasn't.
I didn't. Yeah. So that's whatever.
That's why he's telling people to do it.
When should you seek help? I don't even know. Because it's stages, bro.
Just say anything.
When should you seek help?
Think about people. Most people think they don't need help, so kind of.
I say when you start the second and third guess. When you start thinking you depressed, it's probably already too late.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if you get to that point where you start to think you depressed, go seek help.
Yeah,
I'd say that. If you said it to yourself, it's probably too late. Yeah, it's not too late, but you've passed that point where you need to seek help.
So me, and this is for my Southeast Arkansas people, you need to seek help. If you think you truly believe that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you need to seek help. It ain't no wrong side of the bed. You need to seek help.
If you think your stars didn't align,
yes.
If you think your crystal, it wasn't the right crystals for you this day, look.
That's another thing.
All of that.
Hey, seriously though.
I agree though, because there's intention behind the. It's no one thing that can change your life. Because a lot of people think
a lot of people put stock
that you get this crystal and this crystal, like you said.
People put stock into that.
And
bro.
no, it's your energy. Most every problem that you have mentally, spiritually, and everything starts with yourself. So it's something that either one decision or multiple decisions that you've made that landed you in the position that you're in to feel how you feel. You know, outside of people that are being in situations where things happen to them, where they're dealing with trauma, but yeah, it's a rock. It's not gonna change your life.
No, you rubbing
Don't
on
look
rocks
over
together.
don't look over at the professional when you just gave a pressure.
No, I'm just
I'm
not only speaking to the people.
Rubbing rocks
y'all
together,
too.
rubbing rocks together, and standing outside looking at the moon ain't gonna solve your
Because
problem.
I do fool with it,
He be rubbing
but
rocks
I know
too.
the
But he do the
intention
work, too.
is about that part.
Yes.
That part.
Yes. I really like
Purple
them,
Wings.
Woke up on the wrong
He
side
got a
of the
rock
bed.
on his finger right now.
If you have to say,
Amethyst. My birthstone.
that's for real though. I woke up on the wrong side. No, you need to go seek help.
That's one of the
It ain't
things
no
that
wrong-
we
No,
think
but
addiction.
sometimes you just wake up and you're not in the like your energy ain't
Parents,
there.
stop saying shit just because you done heard it all your life, because your kids that's why they thinking they
Stop
woke up on the
calling your
wrong
kids
side of the
bad.
bed.
Stop calling them bad.
Stop
You
calling
know,
them
the
stupid. Stop
behavior-
calling. I still
Y'all be
diagnosed a
yelling
lot
at
of
them
my
to sit
homies a long
down.
time
They ain't
ago.
had recess all year. How do you expect them to sit down?
All behavior is purposeful, so it's coming from somewhere. It's
Just
stemming
because
from
that
somewhere.
man came to your house with some chicken nuggets.
What?
Man,
All right.
All right, cool. How you want to take us out, man? What you want the people to know?
So
What other where can the people find you at?
okay, nothing is too big or too small to seek help for. Find someone, talk to someone, just try it out. If all else, try it out for a couple sessions, see what you think. You know, you may decide it's not for you, or it may be the best situation you've ever had. Let's see. I'm on Facebook under Purple Wings Counseling, Psychology Today under Purple Wings Counseling, or you can email me, Lynn, LYN, at purplewingscounseling.com. That's it. That's me.
PurpleWingsCounseling.com.
Purple.
What you finna say, P?
Tell them. They would have hit that like subscribe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ring my
Right
ding
down there.
Because
Because a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand that if you fool with us for real, if you don't, that'll help us.
we giving the people what they asking.
Some people don't know like what draws attention,
yeah.
what makes us look good, what makes it look like y'all fool with us. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'd had to, get myself together. Like, oh damn, I'm tripping. I liked it, but I ain't even going like. I didn't share it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, just wanted to say that
Like, share,
if you fool with us
subscribe.
for real, like, share, and subscribe, because that's letting other people know that they can fool with us like you fool with us.
Yeah.
No doubt. But yeah, before you wrap it up, excuse me.
Damn.
Before we wrap it up,
over there.
people, it's totally fine. Seek help. Protect your space.
Absolutely.
Protect your space, and if you have a family or you are that person, as we say, the breadwinner in the family, step aside, take a break, and say, hey, I just need a break. It's okay. It's okay to do that.
You ain't gotta tell nobody you need a break. Just take a break, bro.
Yeah.
It's for me, not you.
Protect your peace. It's important.
Because I would like to, Miss Chulyndria Laye, I'd like to personally thank you for giving us some of your time. I know you like old lady gang now. It's late. You're a professional. You're a mom. You're an instructor. You shed some light on a bunch of different topics. Gave great personal experiences and just some perspective on a bunch of different things. And for the up and coming young people, you kind of gave us some game on different lanes that you could possibly, pursue too as well, with different just courses and licenses and things like that. So again, I want to thank you. I want to commend you for being an advocate of mental health, for teaching people and encouraging people. Well, not teaching people. Well, you are teaching people, but encouraging people as well to go seek mental health in all stages of life, from 3 to 28 and maybe even older. So on my behalf, thank you for joining the JOAT podcast and giving us some of your time tonight.
You are an official tradesman.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm just a small town girl from Dumas, Arkansas, trying to cure the world. And I'm just trying to do it. Thank y'all for having me.
For sure.
It's been a pleasure.
And we out, baby.
We out.